Apedor na itia kiere. Na itia kiere.
That's how God works.
Epone ngoni soma edeke.
He deals with all.
Isoma inyeskede kiere.
Then he says, go, therefore, and make disciples of all nations.
Balabe kolototo kitulosi atekerin kiere.
How many?
Adi
How
kiere.
many?
Adibo
All nations.
kiere.
So when you think about the principle of inclusiveness, it's great.
Iwo momoja kirito na imore kina nepepe eraibore ne Paul.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
But saite keso kirolo kapapa kaloko koku kaloke moyo kalauna.
Teaching them to observe everything.
Isisiana kisikes arimar angini bore kiere.
All things.
Iboro kiere.
How many things?
Iboridi.
All.
Kiere.
Everything.
Angini bore kiere.
I have commanded you. Everything I have commanded you. Teach them.
Munu kiere no echora kiesisiana kisikes.
You can see the principle of inclusiveness.
He went
to some places and he healed all the sick people. All. That's how God works. That's why we need to have a church of all nations. If there are Indians in this, we need to bring Arabs here. All nations. And when you come here, we are all here. We glorify God. All. The second principle. God is intentional. How are we going to pass this thing to the next generation? We must be intentional. Come to me. Come to me. Intentional. Don't go without saying come. Come. You beckon unto them. Go and tell them, come unto me. Intentional. In Mark chapter 3, verse 13, Jesus went up on. They came to him. He appointed 12 that they might be with him, that he might send them to preach the word, to drive out demons. What did he do? He called to him those he wanted. This is, I'll be teaching you classes of people. But these classes are within the inclusive circle. But there were people he wanted. So he called them intentionally. Now this is where most to feel jittery a bit. But when God wants to do certain things, he's going to pick a few. And he calls those people to himself. And there he brought in a few. He only took 12. And then he got those guys next to him. The reason was simple. There were two reasons. Number one, to be with him. Now, note, we talk about passing the mantle, doing this. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to be with. And we'll know why with. He took 12 to be with him. Over unless you are with. When we talked about Elijah and Elisha, there was being with Elijah. There were many prophets. Those are the ones who came and talked with Elisha. Are you aware? Are you aware? This man is going away. But they did not get the mantle. It was one who was with Elijah. So when pastors call on you to be with them, I'll come back here and teach you that another time. This is what they call the armor bearers. They were holding the bag. That's what Joseph did for Saul. I mean David. He was the armor bearer for King David, Saul. That's how he became a captain. That's how at the end of the day he became the king of Israel. It is being with. There were many people following Jesus. Only 12. Except the 12 with Matthias. Those are the only people. The rest of the people now shared from the 12. When they were replacing Judas in Acts chapter 1, this is what they said. Let us choose one who has been with us. I want you to understand this. Because being with helps you to enter into the leader's life. Understand what he does. Understanding his experience. Being with. It is an exposure. In doing discipleship, the first thing Jesus did was to tell his disciples, come and see. Number one, come and see. Then he took them where he lived. And he was with them. He opened his life for them. He discussed his dreams. Come and see. It is unfair to pass a mantle to you when you have not seen. Be intentional when you are dealing with these things. When you are dealing with your own children, be intentional. Yes, start it now. Tell your son, come and see. Then he sees the things you have. He sees the way you live. He sees the way, not only the things you have, but how you acquired them. Because it is possible for him to come and consume what you had, what you got, and he doesn't know how to get. Come and see. I'm taking you to the source. When I show you to the source, then you will know when you finish here, you know where to go. That is why Indians are better than us. Because our children come and inherit your car. They don't know how you got it. They jump on your bicycle and they spoil it and throw it back there. They have no pain of how you got that thing. Young generation, as we pass this mantle to you, learn to carry our bags. Me, I'm telling you that very open. Be the armor bearer. Come and see. When you've done that, you can now be sent. You can now be given. You can now inherit. The mantle can be yours. The person can be there, it doesn't make any difference. You can still run the race. So Jesus said to them, come and be with me. And he said that he might be with them. And also that he might send them. Now, when you notice up here, they said, now wherever they went, they just chased demons. Demons would see them and fall from the sky. Where did they get the power from? From the man they went to be with. So in the process of these things, let's be, that's why God makes us inclusive. So that we are with him. So that we can learn from him. So he can give us all power. Jesus then said, my Father has given me all power. And I also give you that power. See how it goes. From one step to another step. And so this is, you become intentional. The principle for us as leaders is to become intentional about calling you. We are going to, what the principle here will show you, it will select people. There will be 3 categories of people. 3 categories of people. The interior. Those who are inside. And then there will be those who are intimate. There are those who will be interior. There will be those who will be intimate. And there will be those who will be at large. So there are 3 groups of people. We are now getting deeper into how do we pass this thing. Even within your own family. Don't just go without going through this thing. Look at those that are intimate. These are guys who handle your issues secretly and powerfully. And then there will be those who are at large. You leave them there. They're good. But you trust them, you'll be in trouble. The whole thing will collapse. So you don't just go like that. We are now going deeper and deeper in the things of God. So we'll come back onto that as well. But be intentional. I'm going to talk to us who are seniors here. Mothers and fathers. The young men and young women. You see, Jesus is intentional. He says, come. Make a call to the people you feel should come. Let them be with you. And you open up the secrets of what you are doing. Whether it is your business, for those of you who are in business, all of us who are in different sectors of work, teach them. When they come, you open up so they can see
tetere anyunete.
Because when they see,
Nare anyutu.
you know the word seeing
Jenja kirong na anyu.
is the same word seeing.
Neja asese.
There is no perishing. There is no perishing.
E mama mudiar.
Exactly.
Areja asese ne mama mudiar.
Because when they see,
Nare anyutu.
they know the source.
Jeneta libunet.
They will handle it accordingly.
E pote da itoloto kwangin.
But if they are blind,
Konyare mudu kaka.
they will eat everything you have
Nyamarete kerli jata tarijo.
because they think the world is ending.
Nare beta was. Omi to spe beta kwa pange takin.
And they will eat it now and they finish it.
Era nyamar kopana to na daun.
But those who see,
Konye lwese senete.
they have a future,
State ngaren.
but they also have the current, the present.
Ujaske deno akopa anada.
And they will manage the present
Ipota ya iteno akopa ana.
to help them gain more of the future.
Anaingara kiesa dumunu ngaren.
And so that's how we need to treat our children.
Epone ngone betora ya itwakidwe.
And that's how we treat the members of. But let me tell you,
Konyali mo.
if God opened your eyes,
Orede kangara koni konyen.
you will discover the few pillars that hold that thing. Few.
Misikinjo pirini dislo poti tuogo tiborenyin.
Not the thousands we have.
Meri lukumini kwa nalwe jas.
No, it's a few.
Eridis.
And we all run
Oni keri jai keri.
on the basis of those few.
Atuptos dislo agiarete.
Your home
Recon.
is hanging on maybe two pillars or two people or one person.
Egoi anui pirinari yare araidope araibie.
I will never forget
Mami muro kinengo.
when my father died.
Nobu papa kotwania.
I was young,
Aditengo
but I
apakyo.
had people mourning my father.
Abunga pupituwe monye te papa.
And most women who were there, the aunties and so forth,
Doda ngoron we puno ino mijangun.
they said,
Nerasi.
Agolokine road.
The road is closed.
Agolokin.
The road is closed.
Chakane kukwa road.
Where else?
Adaun.
This is the end.
I only understood that recently
Eya pedo na bunga misikina ngun.
because that was the only light.
Nararai papa kabo naraicha. Najat tarikesi.
And immediately the following week,
Sabiti la tupakini.
the hundreds and hundreds of girls disappeared.
Aituka kwata poto.
Every-
Olios.
The home which was hundreds and hundreds of girls disappeared.
Aituka kwata poto.
Every-
Olios.
The home which was big
Erela Paul.
narrowed to one house immediately.
Kwana abongkarauni togi ido.
Confusion came that you could never even see.
Obunai gurilo mamji pera itikokin.
There was no one seeing.
Amamena etei yena seseni.
My father had an elder son
Ajes papa kake doko kelo kiai.
who had no vision.
La mama itapoe amudukana.
My father loved him so much.
Amina papa
Had everything.
diararari borokere.
We finished the end of the year. The whole home was no more a home of a person.
Ingeta kinise karu kwa na mambe rere letunganan.
Not everyone has a vision.
Meritunga kereja tatara itapoe.
Not everyone sees.
Kali gwelti jo mami tete.
You have to intentionally help them and take away something that is covering their eyes so they can see.
Ekoteja pele kinike kese tereja iboringine rapta kete konye opukor anyotu.
I have no time to tell you about Judah Iscariot.
Emamenga pakalimo kinesi kamta si Yuda Iscariot.
He also did signs and wonders.
Yes, de samata aneta keda umono. Ara Yuda kapirilo mama yuta kwa tatake dope.
But he was in the company of Jesus.
Konya upaska Yesu.
And he did signs and wonders.
Di samata aneta keda umono kita.
But he was not saved.
Konye mama re yuna.
He was a thief.
Are kokola.
Sometimes I don't know how God works.
Achepa kumama jine police sama edeke.
How can you keep a thief?
Epuna ni dari korja kokolando je.
Give him power to. But he never got to a place when these people were trusted at the end of the day.
Konye mamye sapo ni warora kidingi inana yasilumunon.
I want to tell you,
Kotonga limoki ni yes.
you get there and you see.
Idolo jonen iwanyuni jo.
Look at your children, look at your family.
Osese kondoja sisene konikal.
Who sees?
Ingaiba kesi itei.
Are they with you?
Bia idwe kone jaskajo.
That home is finished.
It's
collapsing.
Biror.
After you, then what?
If
If the church has believers who don't see what will be the future of that local church, it will collapse after the one who sees is gone. So Jesus picked a few that they may be with him. And those 3 years were a long time to prepare. Start very early. That's why God does the inclusive thing, so that you are also there. Now, Jesus developed an expectation for these people. The desired outcome was to this invitation was to follow him. Let me tell you, I whispered and I said, one of the things that Elisha passed very well was followership.
Yes, atupit.
Follow Elijah. That was a personal, most important thing that earned him that mantle. To follow is where you and me fail. How many of us are followers here? If I ask you a question, I'm sorry, I've already said this, so I'm not going to ask you. But if I asked us here, how many of us want to be leaders? All of us will put our hands. Because that's what we have been taught from beginning one. We've never been taught to follow. But God never called you to be a leader, he called you to be a follower. Follow me. Follow me. Follow me. And that's what Elijah told Elisha. Follow me. And Elisha followed Elijah. Everywhere where he went. When he had his mantle, he throws it on water parts away. He saw. When Elijah raised the dead, he saw. When Elijah stopped the rain, he saw. When Elijah called the rains back, he saw. When Elijah ran away from a woman, he saw. Now it's time for Elijah to go to heaven. He knew it, he saw his life. He saw this man has reached his finishing level. He followed him. Past Bethel, past Jericho, past where and past where. He followed. Let's develop a spirit of following. Because that's what God has called us to. He has not called us to be leaders. He has called us to be followers. As we follow, we learn what he's doing. When your children want to come to become the leaders of your home, they are failing. When they follow you, their father, they are now on the process of becoming leaders. So learn to follow.
Anwangu ni sisiau aitup.
And Jesus is calling them for that particular lesson.
Yes da buiworo ukes anwai sisiau nungun.
So they learn to follow him.
Teteri sisiau nete aitup nges.
The desired outcome was stated in his original invitation.
Nuapele kitakesa sisiau yes no ajaskeda anyara unete kien asodi
To follow me.
aitup en
Come with me.
opotu mamaka.
Then the next things begin.
Otupakinete do kui no atupakinete.
They
Yara kon kiede konye ay tegel kina kon.
with all of
Yes muna utede kasom kedoni kere.
So his intention is to call you
Akelos kinet anyara unujo.
so you can come in here
Teterejo ilo mune
with him,
aja unukanye.
so you will see,
Tetereji wanyuni.
so you will follow,
Teterejo itupi.
and so you will be.
Teterejo iraun. Yes.
He was which
Yes.
never influenced that generation without our being an example to them. Pointed them so they can come and see him.
Abuoseukes teterepote aanyu nunges.
He set a perfect example for them.
Wabuorauna anyunetene jok mameja askesi.
He put his life out for them to examine.
Abuochama kesa keche ijartere isisia unetotoma.
Come and see.
Opotuko anyut.
And let me tell you, brethren,
Alimo kesi nachan.
one of the things we fear
Idopo bora luikuria koni.
is to be exposed.
Yes tunga jinuok.
But if you are going to raise a generation,
Konyari koja itopmolo unatur.
be exposed.
Yes tunga jinuok.
But if you are going to raise a generation,
Konyari koja itopmolo unatur.
be exposed to that generation.
Ochamo ajena turi unujo.
Let them see your strength.
Ochamu keso anta gogonkon.
Let them also see your weakness.
Ochama keso anyutu da banono kukon.
Be exposed.
Ocham angaikin
And
market.
Jesus said, come.
Bala Yesu potu.
This is me.
Engo.
Examine.
Reroska.
Examine.
Reroska jar.
Examine.
Reroska jar.
You remember at one area, I think Matthew 16:18.
Ituri joto mama tesu lito mnakanya kokoroto mnakanya uni.
He asked,
Abwingit.
who do people say I am?
Lebo bribala stunga ba arayon.
What about you?
Dobo de Yesu.
Why did he ask such a question?
Hinyangi si angesi kes kwa ngin.
How will you answer such a question?
Epona dibongo kina jangi setangin. Balasu boluchi ebia do balangai.
And Peter said,
Ebala Petero.
oh, you are the Son of God.
Ebirayo Kristo kokuluka edeke.
And Jesus said,
Osodi Yesu bongokin.
that has been from my Father.
Rangi na puko kine buta neja papaka.
How did this revelation come?
Ekwa kina puko kine na ebuneke.
Was it spontaneous?
Bia ngesuna.
No.
Mam.
That revelation had been growing and growing and growing and growing.
Apuko kine tangin aja ileme polo moti.
As he multiplied the bread,
Ne anyu na be elipake mugato na ipuaka.
Peter said, ha.
Ebala Petero. Oh.
When they went into the water
Na lostora kipi.
and there was a storm,
Oja kaila ni bukete kes.
everybody was crying.
Omonya titunga kere.
Jesus lifted up his hand
Sodi Yesu kiarakan.
and stopped the wind.
Soda itiko kine kwam.
Peter said, aha.
Bali Petero.
Aha. Only God can do that.
Tegel kinalo edeke boni prasamon.
Only God can multiply bread.
Edeke boni tupuare mugati.
Only God can do this.
Edeke boni prasama
The
nunu.
history of Moses, only God could part the lake.
Apaki wa Musa redeke bona praitia kangolol.
And now Jesus is stopping the winds.
Paneti kokiesi kwa minga ngolol.
This is God.
Edeke lo.
He's the Son of God.
Railo kokulo ka edeke.
Meaning you are like God.
Akepolo ba buo nyara untete.
The word son means like.
Akirotongin okoke putosbe aputor.
That's what it means.
Akepolo.
That's why you are called son of so and so.
Nesebala okoke obore putoske do bore.
And they say you should be like your father.
Ebaka be kotijo do putoske de papa.
Sometimes people can tell a behavior and say that man behaves like so and so.
Iponesio ejiponesio chetuge putokinoske de lo bore chut.
It is a DNA.
Akepolo awakota jengon.
So Peter simply said, this is a God thing.
Akironu edeke no.
But that thing has been coming on.
Konyengun ediataslem ichanengun apuko kinetengina ajaru
Because he was seeing,
nare tenene
he was following.
atupit.
When you follow your leader,
itu puje ngarono nikon.
that's what you will learn from his life.
Nguni sise unjoto maijara ke.
So you as a leader, expose yourself, open your life.
Ijoda kwa pe ngarono chama kuna ijaro jenun.
Allow your followers to examine you.
O chama kuna tupito o irero sijo.
Toto chamaki koni duanyisha koni jar.
Mother, allow your life.
If you want them to grow like you,
Ariko jo polo tubaladio.
tell them, come and son, come and see.
Papoli mokoko kon bobiako an.
When he sees you working hard,
Yungesi jo inyinyiri. Anwai man.
when he sees you struggling to save little for this and that,
Yungesi ji pechito ay mono nukeda na nuonga ren.
I can tell you,
Alimok.
he will stick there knowing that this is genuine, this is true. And so Jesus set his life open. They set an example. Corinthians 11:1. Follow my example. As I follow the example of Christ. This is Apostle Paul. Follow my example. As I follow the example of Christ. He set his life for them to. Many Christians keep following rebellious Christians.